What's up, guys? Welcome to Rice and Beans. Big O and Jester are in the house. Get your motors running, because this one's about automobiles. Big O, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing?
Woo, living the dream.
Living the nightmare for me, but hey, we're moving along. Keep it strong. It's the best I can do.
I didn't say what kind of dream it was. Bad dream.
Yeah, cars, man. It's my thing. I love them. Gotta have them. Gotta drive them. Love to fix them every now and then.
You know, I loved having a car. I hated taking the bus. I had to take the bus a lot when I was growing up, so I really don't dig it. But I did try to work on them until the cars that I got, started getting were more computer than they were machine. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, forget it. I work on computers for a living. I don't need to spend my days off working on computers.
Well, just remember this. You were complaining about buses, but at least you were in the front or middle of the bus.
They passed the word along to me that it was cool to not sit in the back anymore.
That's where all the homeless people shit anyway.
So, that's exactly why I don't want to sit back there. It was gross.
Yeah, man, I've been driving for a while, and the computer stuff, that's kind of thrown me off. But you know what? I've kind of flown with the times, and started working on some of the stuff. And I've learned a lot doing some mediocre stuff. But my gosh, some of this stuff would just throw you off of the deep end when you're middle of nowhere and just broken down.
Oh, hell yeah. And it's just as the cars have evolved, I've started to see like weirder and weirder shit, like people that people are doing in their cars now, like those electric cars. There was stories of people getting pulled over because they were having sex in the back seat while the fucking car was like driving itself. So
yeah, they had a chauffeur driving. Why not?
I mean, isn't that what it's for? Like, if it's not what it's for, then what's the fucking point?
I don't know. All I know is if she's riding me and I'm riding in the car and the car is driving itself, hey, kudos.
Right? It's just like, I thought it was something to make Roadhead more convenient and enjoyable.
Until that steering wheel lock breaks and cracks her head down onto the shaft, and now you're Bob it.
Right? Or the fucking shifter knob gets it right in the sternum.
Oh,
it's a good way to end. It's a good way to end one of those real quick.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Manual transmission is almost a thing of the past. You go to most dealerships and they look at you like, "You want a manual transmission, huh?" And most of those models, they're not as good as the automatic models. They're doing all sorts of weird shit anymore. And manual transmission is more reliable than automatic transmission. People just don't realize that the cost to fix one of those things, it's just asinine. And also the inner workings of an automatic transmission will blow your fucking mind, man.
It's way too complicated for me, which is why I just take it to the guy.
Well, have you ever seen one of those metal maze blocks where you have a little BB in there and you're just moving around? And that's essentially what an automatic transmission is. It's got channels like a labyrinth in there and little sumps with ball bearings in there. They get pushed out, pushed in during transfer, and all this other weird shit that it's doing. It's fucking crazy, man.
Sounds like Cookies Thursday nights.
Oh yeah, pushing those balls around. Third gear, fourth gear.
So what's so on the topic of dumb shit in cars, right? Like, what's like either some of the dumbest shit you remember seeing or that you've done in a car?
Okay, so I grew up in California, and it was probably about, I shouldn't say probably about, it is about a couple hundred miles away from where you're located at. So I'm in country hick, orange country up in there, southern San Joaquin Valley, and there's just orange groves as far as the eyes can see. And one of the things my dad taught me when he taught me how to drive was to always make sure when you're passing a truck that you're gunning it. Don't slow down, just drop gear, go as fast as you can and get past that truck as fast as you can. And I saw my opportunity to pass one year. I was probably about 16 and a half, 17. and there's just two semis. And I say two semis because I was pissed off. I was going slow. I needed to get home so I could make my curfew, and I gun it. I drop it in fourth gear. This is a Honda Prelude, and the engine starts screaming, and now I'm going 65 and pushing almost 75. You know, I'm racing. All of a sudden, oncoming traffic. Here comes a truck. Oh shit, it's getting closer. Well, you forget to factor in the terminal velocity of the vehicle that's coming at you, plus the extra velocity that you have going towards it, and how much sooner you're going to meet in the middle. And I barely missed that truck. We're talking maybe a half a car length before I merged back over, clear from the truck behind me. And my heart stopped. I was like, fuck's sake, white knuckled it the rest of the way home. And I couldn't believe what I did. And of course, I never told my dad.
I did the same shit in a rental car going up north on a work trip. Thought I had enough room to pass that fucker. I did. Didn't see the other smaller truck that was in front of him that was slowing him down. Totally misjudged that shit. Gunned the fucking rental car as much as I could, and like, yeah, by like 2 or 3 car lengths, and I was like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. For the next 30 minutes. I was kind of drowsy before that. Nope, I was fucking wide awake the rest of that drive there.
Yeah, I was one of the first cars I drove was a 73 Super Beetle. And it was a nice Volkswagen, and we had to use 2 feet to not only clutch, pedal for the brake and gas, but also clutch, pedal, brake, and gas at the same time, because the idle was off. You needed to keep the engine revving. So with the clutch depressed in, the heel on the brake, the toe would have to flutter the engine so it wouldn't die. So, you know, I'm learning how to drive this. I don't have a license, Lisa. So I'm driving through the alleyways, and my uncle's with me, and he's all, yeah, let's go. And can you drive? Can you really drive? And your dad's going to be pissed if he finds out, but he doesn't stop me. Fucker gets in the car and says, come on, show me what you got. So I'm driving, and I'm going through the turn, and it's a 90-degree turn in the alleyway around this lot. And I don't know. I just turned the wheel too tight, and I fucking dinged the front bumper just barely. It's probably about a $1 bill dent. And I'm thinking to myself, my dad's never going to see this, and I'm okay. My dad walks in. Who dented the car? God damn it. And that goes back to the makers of the belt and the chancla. Man, I was doing the dance, man. I got my ass whipped for that shit.
So one of the dumbest things I ever did in a car was I tried to spend a weekend there camping because it was too cold and the wife didn't want to get out and use like the $200 worth of camping gear that we had just bought to to go up there. So at the time it was this like fucking Kia hatchback, and like she's only like 5'6", so it's fine for her, but I'm like 6'3", and that's not it wasn't comfortable at all, and she didn't want to, like, it was too cold for her, so she didn't want to get out of the fucking car the entire time we were there. So had like the sleeping bags and everything that we had, I had to just like fold the fucking seats down and like cram into the back of that fucking hatchback. And then we were like, oh well, the windows are tinted, nobody could see, and so it's like, lunchtime, and I'm like, well, I'm fucking bored. I'm like, we're not doing anything. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can't see, like, fucking, there's a window shade on the windshield, and the windows are limo tinted, so yeah, cool. And then like fucking people are passing by and like shit. I'm like, they can't see, who cares? And then I fucking get out afterwards and like go to the bathroom, and I'm like coming back, and I fucking walk to the back of the car. Yeah, you can totally see everything.
Oh,
because the sun was so fucking bright, and we forgot to close the inside part of the sunroof, so the light was just coming down, so it made the fucking, I mean, it was still tinted, but you could still see what was going on.
Everyone's looking at the peep show.
And fuck checker was like, well, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, you don't care because with your ass up in the window.
Wait, did you leave a brown stain on the window?
No, I went to the bathroom before.
That's awesome, man. That's what you usually get $20 extra. You should have put a tip box out there.
Right? And then the people we went with were like, there were people passing by kind of talking about people that were doing it in the car. She's like, did you guys happen to see anything? I'm like, nope.
Saw it all. Saw it all.
Oh.
Man, it was so hot. That guy that was in there had the nicest ass. And
people were cheering. Like, it was awesome.
Somebody patted him on the back and he just went deeper. I mean, you should have been there. It was a revival. It was a day I was driving to work, and it was heavy rain out here in Arizona during one of the monsoon seasons. And this woman was driving a Honda Accord, and I had a truck at the time, so I was going probably about 65. You know, I try not to go a little bit too higher than that speed, because it really gets on the roads out here, so you can hydroplane easy. But I know how to drive through hydroplane, ice, and all that other stuff, so I can handle it. Most people can around here. She's driving about 75 in a slow lane. And all of a sudden, in the slow lanes out here, you get water sumps, you know, and she just hits it and starts hydroplaning, going 75. Next thing you know, she's fucking turning, and she's just doing a rotation. She goes 90 degrees. She goes 180 degrees. She gets through 360 degrees. I don't know how many more degrees she went after that, but she fucking continued to turn.
She hit them all.
Oh my
big or
God,
go home.
Stand straight, man. She just dropped the mic after that. I mean, she must have rotated at least 10 times. And as I'm driving, I see all this stuff. I'm talking on the phone, and I'm talking to a customer, and it's an answering machine, you know, because she didn't answer the phone. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Holy shit. Oh my God. What the fuck? And I'm going crazy on the phone. And the lady pulls off to the side and I'm like, oh my God. Whoo. And I go, oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. What you heard was almost an accident. I'm so sorry I did this. Please don't get me in trouble, my boss. I'm talking on the phone.
Shit.
And I had to hang up. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to get in trouble. And next thing I know, I get a phone call, and I realized the phone number was from the account that I needed to go to. And I just hear laughter on the phone. She had heard the whole conversation with dying laughing at me. The first thing she said, are you okay? Yeah. Are we okay? And she goes, yeah, don't worry about it.
She's like, and by the way, that wasn't the answering machine. I said hello like 3 times.
Scared the living shit out of me for that woman, man.
Oh, man. Well, one thing that kind of stands out to me, less scary, more fucking hilarious for me, because it didn't happen to me, where me and a buddy of mine are driving, and we're fucking, like, he sees somebody bent over in a car, and he was like, yeah, and he, like, fucking leans out to go and fucking, like, try to fucking slap ass. Like, totally missed, fucking didn't even get close, and then fucking looks back, and I'm like, and does a double take, and then I fucking look in the mirror, and I'm like, was that a dude? And he was all, we're not going to talk about this. We're just going to keep driving, and we're going to act like this never happened. And almost I started laughing. I was like, whoa. He's like, no conversation of guy ass. We're going to drive.
I didn't know that about you.
That was fucking hilarious, because just the double take that he did, he's like, what the fuck? And so, like, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, did you just try to slap a dude on the ass?
Apple bottom jeans and the boot with the furs.
Yeah, dude. Holy fuck. That was... I was laughing for like 10 fucking minutes.
I had a 2006 Hyundai Accent. Piece of shit car, but hey, it got me from A to B. And the head gasket was breaking down or whatever, and I started burning oil. And every now and then when I'm driving, the engine would chortle. It would just, you know, instead of a cadence that normally do it, you hear cranking sound. And then all of a sudden, poof, and then white smoke would pillow out from the exhaust. Well, I learned how to use this to my advantage. So I'm driving on the freeway, and where I lived at was a place called Litchfield Park, which is just off the I-10. It's on the west side of Phoenix, and it's probably about 30 miles out from the desert. And the reason why I say that is because we have a nuclear plant out here where I had an account. So I had to go out there every now and then and fix a machine. So I'm on the freeway, driving back, right? And this car just got right on my ass, and I was pissed off. I'm like, I'm stuck in here. There's no lanes over here to my right. I can't get over. Why are you riding my ass? And I'm just yelling. This is a discussion I'm having with myself, mind you. Nobody else is in the car, and I'm just going, I'm livid. So then I hear the engine start to do its thing. Well, if I just kind of keep the gas pedal where it's at, it doesn't do nothing. But I was getting pissed off, so I mashed it down, and then I hear the engine going, and I just keep mashing it down. I mashed it down for another few seconds, let it off, and then gassed it. And all of a sudden, poof! Big old pillow of white smoke, and all I can see in my rearview mirror is just a white wall. I shit you not, it's just a white wall, and this car was literally half a car length, if not closer, to my ass. And I'm looking back, and next thing I know, he's about a quarter mile behind me. Just got that 15, 16 car lengths away from me, and you can see him swerving. And as soon as I could, I got over to the slow lane. The guy's looking at me. I'm like, he speeds off.
Like when people stand behind you too close in line, you just fucking let one rip. I'm like, fuck it. If you don't like it, you shouldn't have been that close to me.
You're disgusting, and you should have never done that, you fucking pig. So out here also, I've done a lot of weird shit, mind you. That's why I'm going on and on. Out in Wickenburg, there's a couple of clinics out there, for drug addicts, sex addicts, and stuff like that. And they've actually had some, stars, for Hollywood stars that come out here and do that stuff. So it's very, very secure, and I never saw anybody there because that's how secure these places are. And one of the days that I had to go to one of these retreats, there was a wash that had just gotten inundated with water flooding from rain the night before, because that's the weird thing that happens out here in Arizona. If you get rain the day before up in the mountains, it finally gets downhill and then goes through these washes into the rivers. And the only way to get to this place was to go through some back roads. And the back roads are all dirt roads, that are like 4 stories high, built with sand piles and stuff like that. And I had a Nissan Altima, and I'm driving through there. I'm like, hey, look at this. I'm a drifter. So now I'm side going through these corners, and I'm getting through it, and I'm doing pretty damn good. I'll tell you what, going about 35 miles an hour, sifting through there. My only car, I got this shit. Watch out. And then I'm coming up to a curve, and I'm like, I ain't got this shit. And now I'm hitting the brakes, and I'm sliding. And it's just a slide that doesn't stop. I shit you not. I'm just going. I'm like, fuck, it's not turning. Fuck, it's not stopping. I'm coming to the edge. Oh, my God. Fucking hit the emergency brake. They even stop even more. No, I'm sliding even more because of that. So finally, I get this car to stop. I'm like, my heart's pumping. I'm stopped at this top ledge, and I'm looking down. I'm like, holy shit. It must have been about 2.5-story drop on the other side. And if my car went over, the bank itself, I could have survived and not done much damage, but I wouldn't have got that car out of there. So now I'm like standing there at the edge, looking over with my car, and my wheels are that close to going over.
Fuck.
Right? And I'm looking, and I step at the edge, right? And then some of it caves down. I'm like, oh shit. So I jump back in the car and back it up as fast as possible, just so it doesn't go down. And as I do that, the whole side embankment starts going down. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going home. I'm not. And now I'm going 5 miles an hour through the whole dirt area before I get to the streets. Man, I copped a shit turtle on that one, man.
Fuck, I don't blame you. It's unnerving to fucking wipe out on a fucking hill. I've done it before, like up in the Hollywood Hills, like the Mulholland Drive, right? So you go up there and like plenty of good lookout points, and by lookout points, I mean places to have sex in a car. And so, but the road really windy and turny, and is like one lane up, one lane down, and so, and then just a drop on, there's houses, but then
Right.
down. And yeah, fucking wiping out on there, going too fast, and same thing, like no guardrail, and tire that far from the edge. I was like, oh shit. Right back, and I'm like, fuck that.
Yep. There's a lot of places like that, even up there in the San Joaquin Valley where I was at. We used to, I used to work at cable, and we'd go up in the Sierra Nevadas in, big trucks and stuff. And it was like that. Hell, I was in a boom truck, and I was trying to fix a line that was reported that was broken. So I'm probably about 600 feet from a ravine with a river below. And every single road that's out there is curved, right? So all the water runs off and gets off the street. So now the van is one of those Chevy Econo vans that has like a 3-foot lift. And I'm in this thing, and I put chocks on the wheels so they don't move. And I have to get on a boom that's on a pole to reach a pole that's on the edge of a cliff.
Fuck no.
And the pole is not straight up. The pole should be like this, right? But from weather and everything else, the pole was at an angle. So now my truck is at an angle. The pole is even at a severe angle, and I'm trying to get my boom out there. And every time the boom moves, the whole truck does this stuff. And I'm looking 600 feet down as I'm going out there, and my feet are killing me, cramping up, because I'm just like trying to lock my toes in my boots and my boots onto the boom cabin, and I'm like, fuck. Lucky for me, nothing slid. I was able to get the job complete, get the thing back, and get off the freaking road, man.
Fuck no.
And the funniest, dumbest shit that I've done was the Honda Prelude thing again. So I've already told my parents this. One night, my curfew was midnight. You're gonna love this. And we went to Visalia. So that's about a 20-mile drive from where I lived at, right? So it's not too bad, but you really got to leave at a good time to get there, right? So we're out there. I see my cousin. I start talking to him. We're saying hi to chicks. That's what you did. You cruised, right? So we're cruising, talking to chicks, trying to pick up numbers and whatever. And I'm looking at the time. Oh shit, we gotta go. And my best friend's okay. I'm like, get the fuck in the car. Don't say okay. So he gets in the car. Another good friend of mine gets in the car, right? I go, okay, to my best friend. I go, you sit in the back because we have to drop him off first, right? He's okay. We're going. I take off, man. Honda Prelude, man. Honda Prelude. I live by those things. I love them. I'm going 125 miles an hour through the back roads, man. Every single intersection that we have, I'm turning off my lights to see if I have any intersecting lights coming from opposite directions at 125 miles an hour. I'm going through these roads, and I know them like the back of my hand. So it's dark. I don't need lights. I know where everything's at. So I'm going. It was 11:45. My curfew was 12. At 11:45, when we took off, I got my friend back to his house, and I go, we're doing a rolling stop. I'm not stopping. He goes, okay. So he gets out, and all of a sudden I hear, as he's rolling because he couldn't keep his legs. And I peel out, and I take my friend back to his house, which is closer to my house. And I stop. Okay, man, have a great night. No rolling stop. Because he was my best friend,
Tuck and roll, Grandma, tuck and roll.
I got to roll. And I drive up to my house, and as I'm going in on the large driveway to get up onto the flat surface, I kill the engine and go and just glide it in. It was 12:05. I made that shit run that normally takes about 35, 40 minutes in about 25 minutes, man. Or nice. 20 minutes.
Fucking Ferris Bueller'd it.
Oh my God, man. My dad goes, you were cutting a little close last time. I'm like, did I make it? He's like, yeah, you made it.
Your story about the fucking about the boom arm on the van made me think of one more dumb thing that I saw in a truck or in a vehicle. Yeah. So they're working on the major street, on like that's near my house. And so there's only one house between me and the street. So there's this fucking dump truck that comes through, and it's dumping out the fucking asphalt that they're gonna use to like fill the holes and shit like that, whatever the fuck they're fixing it. And this fucker goes forward, and fucking the truck hits a wire, and the pole that's back there fucking leans this way, rips some fucking landline box out of my house, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look, and like Cookie was here too, and he was like, he was in here, and then I was inside the house, and I was standing by the window, and I saw it fall, and he ran out. He's like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, so I go around the corner, and I look, and the truck is still there, leaning on the fucking on the wire, and the pole's like fucking pulled. And I'm telling like one of the fucking construction workers, I'm like, yo, the fucking truck clipped the wire, and it just pulled some shit out of the house. And he was like, oh shit. And so then they come back and they look at it, and he's like, all right, well, we're gonna call the city right now and let them know what happened. I'm like, you might want to do something about that fucking pole. It looks like it's gonna fall over. And he was like, yeah. He's like, that driver's not with us though. I'm like, I don't care, Dick. I don't want the fucking pole falling on my goddamn garage. I'm like, fix it. Tell him to fix it. I don't care. Just fucking no pole falling in the garage. That's the moral of the story.
That's a good moral.
Right? Especially because this is where I do the show from.
Yeah, really. Hey, does it look like I smoke poles? Come on, man. Get that shit straight. Speaking of that, man, we were talking about the weird shit that you did in the car and dumb stuff, and you already talked about some sex, Paradise in the Dashboard Light, man. Some of the good times in there. So there was a time where I was driving around and straight from the cruise area and pull off to the side of the road and get some action on. And then next thing you know, everyone's diverted there. And so all of a sudden lights are coming up towards you and you're like, oh shit. Now everybody's looking at you as they're driving by, honking their horn, and you're trying to finish up.
Yeah, it's just like it was cool before I had my own place. Then after that, it was just kind of like, why I have a house, or why have an apartment? I'm like, why in the fuck would I want to be in the car?
Because it's exotic. It's exciting.
It's fucking obnoxious sometimes though. It's like, and like irritating because depending on like what kind of car you have, if it's like roomy for that or it's not, or like where, like if there's just shit like in the way that makes it harder to do. It's like if it makes it work and not fun, it's like it kills it. And I'm like, I'd rather just go home and jerk off.
Pontiac Fiero.
Oh man, I had like a Nissan 300ZX, that like an '86 though. Yeah, no fucking backseat. It's just a fucking hatchback, and like, no, that was fucking not. Like, if you're gonna leave the hatchback open, okay, but otherwise, no, it doesn't work.
And you ain't gonna lay her on the front of the hood. Bitch, I thought you said you were under 100 pounds.
Right? And then the fucking U-Haul trucks are good for that.
Just throw a mattress in the back.
Yeah, or like some of the cabs are roomy as fuck. You get down there, that's easy.
Well, so if you're in a move, you could just set up the bed like you had it in the room, and put candle lights and just have your friend drive you over.
I mean, when Fuck Checker and I were coming back from like moving her stuff in from out of state, like we we pulled over. The truck with the cab was big enough for 4 people, so like we just went in the back.
Nice.
And then it was like middle of the night and a blizzard, so nobody was out. So we're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's safe.
Making your own snow globe inside.
Yeah, harder to do in a blizzard. Without the fucking truck running, it gets really cold in there really fast.
Wait, go slow. You might break it off.
Yeah, no, but I think if it's like a big vehicle, cool. But I'm sure even that has its fucking, like cons. But
Wait. You picking up cons when you do this?
not anymore.
Oh, I thought I've been by those places. The prisons say don't stop for hitchhikers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and it's like, don't slow down. I'm like, I'm by a prison. Why in the fuck would I slow down?
Because it's the unwritten rule of the road, but we'll talk about that later.
That came up as um like a game to play while waiting for dinner at an event I went to, and they were playing like the movie quotes game, and
Right.
so I did that one. I was like, "Cause you're doing it all wrong. You gotta give the driver a little incentive." And like fucking nobody got it. They're like, "What?" I was like, "You said fucking obscure," and I'm like, "That's not really obscure. It's a cult classic." I'm like, "It's
Right.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back," and like only one person fucking knew what it was. I was like, "Really?" I'm like,
That's not
"Wow."
obscure. That was a big hit. It's not just a cult classic. Lots of people love it.
And then the other one that I did was from the Big Lebowski, and like
Right.
one person got it. And he was like 20 years old. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I gotta watch that again. There's a lot of good movie quotes in there. I've seen it like three
Oh,
or four times,
fuck
but for the
yeah.
life of me, I can't remember half of them.
Oh man, that's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
It is. It's a really great movie.
So what? I mean, what's your take on the whole like sex in the car thing? I know I brought up like the fucking being the Debbie Downer and bringing up the cons, but what about you? What do you think? Worth it?
Oh man, yeah, I think it's worth it. I love the excitement of doing it, man. I mean, if I had the money for a nice car and I had the money to do whatever the hell I want, I'd be having sex in a car all the goddamn time. Yeah, it wouldn't even matter. I'd have hand puppets. I'd be, whatever I could do, I do. That shit's awesome, man.
If I win the lotto, I'm gonna get an RV for just that and deck it out like all Austin Powers style with the fucking rotating bed and everything.
Right. Get cruise control on it, and then everybody go in the back. Who's driving? Oh, cruise control is driving. Be like Ron Burgundy part two.
just hire
What?
just hire a Playboy playmate when they're in the off season.
Why do you have a bowl full of scorpions in here? Oh, I don't know. I just thought it'd be nice. No, I really don't see no problems in it, and I'd like to do it. I don't mind. I really don't care about it. Other people be like, "Oh my god, it's so dangerous, so dangerous." Yeah, everything's fucking dangerous. You live, you die. You're only around this world for how many years before you fucking go on? You might as well have fun doing it. And I ain't got the money to have fun doing it now, but hey, if I did, you better believe I'd be doing it.
And it's like I've heard the dangerous thing before too, right? And the thing is, what I don't get is like dangerous how? I'm not talking about while I'm driving, like that's
Well,
really
I am.
inconvenient. But I like, have done it, but it's like it's a matter of convenience for me, I guess.
Yep.
But if the car is like stopped, like how is it dangerous? Like it's how is it like endangering anybody else either? Like if you don't like it, don't
Well,
look.
she's a wild woman. She kicks the shifter, and next thing you know, you're driving 20 miles an hour, and she breaks a knob in her butthole while you're in her vagina, and then you got a weird threesome going on, and then everybody dies. Not speaking from experience either.
And then like fucking like if you're a bigger person, you need some swinging room. You know what I mean? It's like you
That's
can't.
true.
So then you fucking break shit, and then you gotta fucking fix your you gotta fix your car. You gotta pay somebody to fucking fix your car.
Which brings us to our next line of topic, the knuckle breaker, man. I mean, are you good with fixing your own car? Do you know the ins and outs of your car?
Nope, not at all. Not this one. Like this one is way more computer than machine, and it's just like nah. Like with the smog check thing, I tripped out because um I paid them $60, and all they did was basically fucking plug a fucking cable into my car and stand there for 10 minutes. The fucking car wasn't even on, And then they turn it on and they're like, "Oh, okay, all right, you're good." And I'm like, "That's it? I pay you $60 for that? Like, what the fuck?" And he was like, well, "Yeah, you have one of the computers that tells us exactly like what's going on. So if it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's no need to put it on that." Like the old school style, let him run it and then the thing in
Yep.
the tailpipe. He's like, "Nah, we don't do that anymore." It's like you just
Yeah.
plug it into the computer.
That's about some bullshit too. That's what I hated doing in the past. Smog checks, all that bullshit. Here in Arizona, at least, if you have issues with your ODV, it'll actually tell you to fix it, and if they'll actually throw a hose on it to actually see what's going out of your exhaust. But for the most part, it's really simple. $20 in and out.
Right? I
You know,
mean, $20, $20.
yeah. You know what? Nobody's sucking on the end of your tailpipe for the most part. So yeah, I've been going through a lot of rough times over here. You know, my truck is a 1999 Toyota Tacoma, and it's got 368,000 miles on it. So it's been tough to try to get 2 year tags on it. But this year, I did it.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to fuck with it for 2 years. Yes.
Not having to fucking go to the DMV is for 2 years is, I think, one of the fucking best things ever.
Well, so in California, do you have those businesses that have opened up to take care of your tags so you don't have to go to DMV? Or do you still have to go to the DMV?
AAA. Like if you have AAA, but they don't do everything though. Like it's only like some things. But
Okay.
like registration is one of them. Like you can do the 2 year thing there too.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
don't
So
know too many others.
So we got a bunch of pop-up offices around here. They'll do your registration, they'll do your titles, they'll do a lot of different things for you, and they'll even do your passports and visas too. It's freaking awesome, man. You have to pay for a little bit more because you're doing it a little bit more simple offsite, but hey, man, don't have to run into people so much, so it's worth it.
Well, I mean, I anything that I could fucking do online and just have them mail it to me, like fucking hell yeah, the even better. Then there's like less risk of like personal injury, like when you fucking work on your own goddamn cars and end up like smashing your knuckles into shit or having things fall on you or having fucking hot liquid like that you thought was cool and then somebody fucking started the car without you knowing and now the oil's hot again.
Magma.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
I was working on that truck and okay, so let me start off with a stupid thing. It's a manual transmission. I know most of the people listening nowadays don't know manual transmission. Hopefully we got some older people that do know manual transmission. But if you do have one, it's really simple. If your starter goes out, push in your clutch, put it in first gear, have someone push you, pop your clutch, the engine starts. I'm sitting at work late at night and I totally forgot this notion because I had been driving for so long and automatics in and out of my life. And now I have a clutch. And my friend says to me, "You've been over here for 30 minutes whining about how you can't start your truck. It's got a clutch, doesn't it?" I'm like, oh, I felt like a total ass. Like, yes, I'll push you. All right, fine. I got home.
Let's
But
go, LaRusso.
damn, I felt like a total idiot, man. So I get home and then I'm looking at the clutch and sure than shit, the solenoid's not firing. So the solenoid pin is not pushing the gear and therefore the starter's not cranking on the gear assembly for the transmission. So I go to a cheap place over here and get like a $80 part. Really good part, and they stand by their parts over there. So I throw it in there. And one of the things I'm looking online, because I never replaced a starter on this truck, was that everybody is talking about knuckle busting and how you can't get that stupid starter out. You have to go through the wheel well, disassemble your brake, because you have a brake line going straight down in your wheel well, right in the goddamn middle. Fucking Japanese engineers going, "Oh, round eye, they're gonna be fuck up with this." Why would you put a fucking line straight down the middle that has access to the engine bay? I mean, it makes no sense. So people are talking about how they cracked the line, lifted the line, and then they were able to get the starter out of this, but they'd have to bleed the brakes and get the air out of there and everything. And I'm like, fuck this. So I'm down in the power steering train down underneath, and I'm able to get off that starter. Now the starter's sitting freewheeling in my hand. I'm lifting up like this, trying to keep the thing rolling. And I'm noticing some rods, steering rods down there. I'm like, I wonder if I just nudge it a bit. So I nudged it a bit and I almost get the starter. I'm like, oh my God, no way. So now it's a matter of putting the square block in the square hole to get the starter out, right? So I'm pushing some rods, moving the starter around, and finally I find the configuration. It's a 1/4 degree turn as you're pulling out and pushing a rod in, and the whole thing just dropped out. I'm like, oh my God. So now I put the new starter in, and I get it up in there, and then I have to take it out for, I forgot what it was. I think I had to do a bolt on the thing, and I'm like, no, I can't get it out. So I had to figure the right configuration again. I spent half a day on this goddamn thing, but I did the starter all by myself. And to go to what we were saying, as I'm trying to get the wrench in there and get everything cracked in there, it slips, my hand's sweaty, and mom's spaghetti throw up on me and pop right into the engine, and just 4 knuckles all bleeding right down to my face.
Ouch.
But I did it.
I remember one time I was a teenager working on one of the first cars I had. I was changing the brakes or some shit. And out here we get fucking random earthquakes, not big ones, but enough to be fucking, annoying.
Right.
And so I'm under this fucking car, and I'm like trying to take some shit apart, and then the fucking earthquake, like a small like fucking earthquake happened, and I was like, oh hell no. And like I was on like cardboard, and luckily I had put some cardboard like at the top too, so I could like back all the way out.
Right.
Fuck no. My brother said you look like you got shot out from underneath the fucking car, like you just came out like a fucking bobsled, just fucking straight out from under that. I was like, fuck that, dude. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. As soon as I felt the shit like fucking start to shake a little bit, I'm like, oh hell no. I almost shit my pants. I'm all whoosh, like I was in a fucking pool.
Nice. I was fixing that white cloud Hyundai Accent I told you about.
Yeah.
I was doing the brakes on that, and it was drum brakes on there. And I mean, I could figure stuff out pretty good, but my dad was there, so he was visiting, and he knew all drum brakes. He knew about pads too, so he goes, yeah, I'll help you. So I got this thing on a jack now, right? And I'm taking off the rear wheel, and I finished the pads in there. I got everything locked in place. He said, looks good. Put everything back on there, and just as I'm putting it back on there, he's working on the other side. I'm like, don't do anything. We're on jacks. These stands are not that secure. I go, just wait for a second. Let me get the wheel on, and then you can do whatever you need to. Just as I say that, he cracks down on the other side. The whole car shifts, falls off the jack, and my leg was underneath the car on that end. Had I not pulled it out a split second earlier when I was trying to shift and get that wheel back on, that thing would have crushed my leg. And luckily I had a block down there that it didn't destroy the freaking drum on there too.
That was one of the things that my dad asked. He's like, well, did you have it on stands? I was like, I still wasn't going to fucking trust the stands. Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, would you have stayed under there? He's like, no. I'm all, then does it really matter if it wasn't a fucking stand or not?
That day creeped me out. So every time I'm underneath the vehicle now, I have 2 stands. I got the 3/4 ton jacks under there. I make sure everything's secure before I do anything. Oh my gosh.
That was,
man.
yeah, that incident was one of the other things that turned me off about working on cars out here, is because like there's no warning for that shit. You never know. Like it'll just like bloop bloop, all of a sudden, nope, here we go, earthquake.
Goddamn no. Another time I was replacing the radiator, and I was trying to cut a hose.
Ooh.
And I had an X-Acto knife, and I'm here cutting the potato, How stupid is that? Slip, slice, fucking dug almost to the bone.
Oh,
My wife's all, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, we ain't got money for a hospital. I'm going to fix it myself. All right. She throws her hands up and walks away from me because she knows she's going to have an argument. So I'm putting first off, paper towel on there with duct tape. Okay, that'll be good enough. Mashing my skin together to hopefully bond it. And it's not working. It's still bleeding. I'm like, what am I going to do? Super glue. Whoop! And then I put the tape around there. And half an hour later, that thing was sealed.
It's one way to do it.
Yep.
I mean,
Survived me a trip to the hospital.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's like, I've heard of people, being able to, like, do just that to avoid the trip to hospital by using, like, the super glue or just cauterizing it somehow. Like, that seems really fucking uncomfortable. I don't think I'd ever be down for that, but I guess if I absolutely had to.
Like, and I'm gonna get you, sucker. You get that needle and cauterize that shit. Because they're gonna use that anyway. They're gonna use super glue to paste it together over there. They're not gonna put needle and thread in a thumb.
Yeah, true. True. I had an incident like when getting fucking burned with the fucking radiator.
Oof.
Um I was driving, I was on the freeway, then all of a sudden there's like this pop and this really loud bang and like from underneath my hood, and then all of a sudden like fucking white smoke everywhere, and I was like, oh shit. So I pull over and I was like, I kind of let it go die down a bit, and then I'm like, all right, I think this should be cool. Nope, I fucking opened the hood and even more fucking came out, and that shit was like spraying, and it was like, oh fuck, like it was hot, like it got on me, it got on like my fucking clothes. It was so like I was like peeling shit away and fucking trying to wipe off like fucking hot antifreeze at the same time, and during the summer it was fucking a shit day.
It was like that time when you were 13 years old cooking bacon with no shirt on.
13, that was like last week. You think I'd learned my lesson, but nope.
Nope. It's bacon. That's why bacon loves you.
I was like, it's bacon. I can't wait to put a shirt on. Like, it has to be done first thing in the morning.
Well, this wasn't a knuckle breaker, but it did happen, and it is kind of scary. But I was in that. Man, I have recurring nightmares with certain vehicles. But that Hyundai Accent, I was driving down the freeway at 70, and all of a sudden, the engine just went weird, and the lights flashed, and then all of a sudden, dead. Now I'm cruising 70 with no power steering, right? And hoping that it doesn't lock on me. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm in the carpool lane, right? And everybody's going 75 plus. So they were already bumper to bumper with me. I'm pulling off to the side of the road, and I'm on the inside lane of the freeway. I'm not on the outside lane where you can merge with regular surface streets. So I'm fucked. I open up the hood, and there's just smoke billowing out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I did nothing to this car, but what had happened was one of the wires in there had just shorted out and fried the whole wire system harness assembly in the engine bay. So all my wires to everything were burnt toast black and melted. I'm like, holy shit. So now I'm calling a tow truck, it wasn't a tow truck. It was one of those haulers, right? And they get me home, and he's talking, oh, yeah, Hyundai's notorious for that. I'm like, what? So, yeah, these older Hyundais, when they something happens to the circuitry, it just fries everything. I'm like, holy shit, I never heard anything about this. Well, turns out it was a prevalent problem, and I took it into a dealership, and they replaced it for free because, they didn't send out all the warnings out. And so they were trying to get ahead of it before the government got on their ass. But I was like, holy shit, man.
That's fucking crazy. Like, this car will self-destruct.
Exactly, man. That's what it was like. Doom, 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 doom.
Well, I mean, it's cool how far cars have come, and it's a trip to see some, and again, I stress some of these fucking cars that are coming out lately, and it's like even this year's models. It's like there's some good ones. Like what do Why don't we take a look at some? Like,
Yeah, so you remember the Suzuki Samurai back in the 80s and early 90s, right?
yeah,
Yeah, well, it looks like they're making a comeback. I mean, we got the new Suzuki Jimmy coming out in 2022. So it looks nice. It's a 5 door, so 4 door and a hatchback, but it looks pretty good. Stable maybe. But it's got a Land Rover-esque look to it now.
it's come a long way.
What do you think?
I think it's definitely come a long way. It's definitely not the fucking Suzuki I remember. The Suzukis I remember were like way small and like, um, it just. I remember riding in the back and front seat of one, and it just there was hardly any room in the fucking car. It was like, so this one
Yeah.
looks better. I mean, looks like there's like some fold down seats, and it's
Yep.
4 doors this time.
Yep. And it looks a little bit wider in the stance and a little bit more stable for turning so it doesn't topple over.
Yeah. The Jimmy, huh?
Yeah. So make sure to wear your Jimmy hat when you're driving your Suzuki.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm really, really prone to driving Toyotas. I like Toyotas a lot. And one of the Toyota products that I really never got to experience is basically the Tacoma model, but it's a Helix. And those trucks, I hear nothing but good things. But 2022, they're going to be coming out with a Helix model for the Toyota brand.
Ooh,
And it looks pretty nice. The rear back there is kind of looking like a Chevy Avalanche, but I tell you what, they made it look better than Chevy did.
that
You're not into that?
That one didn't. That one didn't really move me that much. It kind of looks like those fucking cars from. It's that one game. Where you fucking play soccer with the RC cars. Rocket League.
Okay.
It looks like a Rocket League car.
Well, this is more European. More than likely, this is going to be the European market. You're not going to really see too many of them in America. The Tacoma and the Tundras are the brands that are usually in the U.S. The Helix brands are usually in the European market. But it'd be nice to see some of these out here. I mean, they've come a long way. They've rounded it off in the front and the rear. It's essentially the Tacoma model with a few more aspects of a vehicle, car look. But Helix is a good brand. They have a good engine in that model, and they're tried and true. So you may not like the new design, but it's coming.
Right. I mean, it just kind of. I know. I get what you mean. Like I like having been out of the country and seeing like the different types of cars and like the car manufacturers that are over there overseas are completely different than here. Not all like the big names are still there, but
yeah.
Then you have like these like I guess local, to them. And so, like, just, different brands that look, different models that look like cars here, but, like, they're one that's
somewhat different.
Yeah, the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car in most cases. And,
yeah. Yeah, the body design, they have a different mindset to what the vehicle should look like over in the European area. So, Ford's coming out with, it's been out there and reported the Bronco's coming out. Here we go, 2022 Bronco.
Yeah,
looks pretty nice. I don't mind it one little bit. I think it looks really good.
Man, can you imagine if the Juice had one of those?
Oh my God, man! Run, OJ, run!
He would have got away.
Oh my God, Al Callen could have got him out of there. And, it just wouldn't have been the same. It'd have to be a white Bronco, though.
They could have had him, like, be the spokesperson, be like, making a comeback.
Jumping over the baggage in the airport when he used to do for Hertz, and then, doing his Heisman thing and then jumping into the white Bronco.
Yeah. throwing a glove out the window and then driving off.
The glove, yeah, that's the icing on the cake right there. But yeah, the Bronco, I don't know about the engine and as far as the transmission goes and everything, but Ford's been coming up with some pretty good mechanical setups for these vehicles, pretty reliable too, and great gas mileage. So I think we might be seeing some good things from the Bronco 22 model.
Yeah, it looks much better than like the previous models. And again, like I think if OJ had one of those,
Well, and then we're still staying on the Ford aspect here. We go into the new Ranger for 2022. I think it looks a lot better in the front grille assembly. They've modeled it more like the 150, except a smaller version of it. But if you look at the new headlights up there, the Seascape on there, it looks really good. Continuity looks a lot better, and the whole body just looks good now.
it looks like a fucking Asian version of Bumblebee. Like the Chinese
I can see
version.
that.
The Chinese, like he gets up and it's like, he like fucking stands up and he's got a fucking rice patty hat on and the fucking like the slanted headlights.
Autobots roll out.
But I guess if they're gonna make it authentic, it'd be like fucking transform from a rickshaw into like a robot.
That's one thin robot. Yeah, but Ford's been coming up with some good models, very good gas mileage, and I tell you what, man, they're pretty reliable. I had a Ford Focus 2014 model, really good car, really good. So we're going to be seeing a lot of good things coming out. Now here you go. Here's something from GMC. It looks like a concept truck, but let me tell you, we might be seeing this on the road.
That looks like the fucking the robot for Sunday morning NFL on Fox.
Yeah.
That robot that's in the football uniform, that looks like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This is the 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. So the Denali model. This looks fucking awesome. I mean, if women aren't throwing their vajayjays at you driving this truck, then at least you get the lot lizards over at the truckers' gas stops.
If somebody puts like one of those shells on the back of that thing, that will look like the fucking the Thundercats tank.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right,
it looks badass though. I wouldn't mind driving one of these things.
Right, fucking gun turret on the top. Fuck yeah,
yes, sir. Imagine strolling down the street in that, man.
Hell yeah. Was it Will Smith that said it 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you? Being loud. Look at me, motherfucker.
So yeah, we got the 2022 Ferrari model here. This car right here. This is a hybrid. So not only does it have the regular gas engine, but it also has an electric motor inside of there to save on gas. They've been testing this out for quite some time now. Ferrari's had some good, output from these models. Just depending if you want to spend the extra exorbitant amount of money for a hybrid to have a supercar. But I tell you what, it looks pretty damn nice.
Can't complain. I mean, wow. That's...
Yeah, so you're looking at a 6-cylinder right there. So it's not V12 like normal Ferraris you would get for a supercar. But for that 6-cylinder, you're getting all the power and lightweight maneuverability for this vehicle, plus the hybrid portion of it where you're actually using the electric motor so you could save gas.
And it's funny that people put, that people push the mechanical points of having the Ferrari. It's like, no, bro, it's not about the fucking, it's not about how I can stop on a dime. It's about I'm in a goddamn Ferrari.
That's right. But this hybrid, man, I would not mind driving it, but I don't know if I'd shell out the whatever 350 that it would be.
If I won one of those big lottos that like, the 900 million or fucking 980 million, like, on my own, yeah, I could see splurging on one of those just for the fuck of it. But short of that, yeah, no.
Heck no. So going on to the 2022 Ford Mustang. I think that looks sleek and nice.
Not bad. Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
this is a concept model right here, but you can see from the front hood, they got that scoop going down like the models that they came out with in the 60s. So the air will go down through the intake and come up and give it more streamline. They even got some scoops on the side where the door fairings are behind the wheels. I think it looks pretty damn nice.
And you know what that'd be good for, that hood? See how it dips in right there? Then the chick can just fucking hold on to that. You know, whether she's facing or like with her back on there, that she has handles to hold on to.
What are you talking about? Those are knee implants.
I mean, I guess if you get your leg up that far, some of us aren't that flexible.
Well, you're that high, so you should be able to make it. Moving on, we go to the Dodge Ram truck. 2022 model. Not much design change. The rear window on the four doors a little bit modified. If you're looking at the front headlights, you can see the changeover. Big Ram on the front. Nice wheels on there. Looks good. Good color. It's not bad. Not bad for economy car, family truck.
A really good buddy of mine just got one of, I don't know if it's a 2022 or a 2021, but he just got one of, like, it looks just like that, but black. So, the inside is fucking super nice, really fucking roomy, and even for me, being like a fucking taller person, like, that truck is fucking beast.
Yeah,
So,
they've been coming out with a lot of good interior models, and a lot of these big manufacturers have been going away from plastic products and using more vegetable-based products that are similar to plastics, and they're better for the environment, better to break down, they last just as long, and they have a more supple feel to them.
love it when they have a more supple feel. Always
Slap it.
makes my day.
So now we go into the new VW. They're going back into the bus business, which I like the retro look. I really like this a lot.
Like about 10 fucking jokes jumped to mind, and like all of them try to come out at once, and it came out as bleh. It looks like a dick on wheels, I'm not gonna lie.
I see what you're talking about.
But at the same time, it's like it still does look like their bus. It looks like their fucking Down syndrome cousin, like, bus
I
version.
understand completely. I mean, you can modify that with better paint and better features on that, but I like the nostalgia of it. Growing up in California and driving in a VW bus and listening to that loud engine roar as you're going 60 miles an hour on the freeway, barely chucking along. I like that feel in the California wind blowing in your face. I mean, that would bring back nostalgia for me 100%. That's why I like it.
It's a cool idea, you know what I mean, to try to bring back that bus, because those original buses, those were fucking cool. Like, if I was gonna get back into working on cars and shit like that, that's probably what I would pick up, is one of those buses, and just start putting one of those back together, because like, it's stuff that's not overly complicated, and and those things were, if you fixed them up right, especially like on the inside, those things were fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know. But I just driving one of those things around, being in one of those, I like it. And I understand your concept of, it looks like a dick on wheels, but let me tell you something, man. When you got that ocean spray in your face and you're just driving down the
Go on.
yeah. Cookie's not here to enjoy this, but you know what I mean. Ocean spray in your face as you just shiver. So yeah, 2022 is also bringing out a new Land Rover. In this case, it is a shiny blue, almost baby, but it's got a silver hood, bonnet, and top white. So it's kind of looking almost like a Toyota Land Cruiser-esque with the way they did the color scheme on this. But it looks good. I'm telling you what, Land Rover looks really good.
It reminds me kind of like of those, remember the station wagons where like the tail stuck out, the back compartment, the tail stuck out over the rear wheel.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of those. I wonder how much fucking shit you can pack in there. Like, probably fit a whole goddamn house in there.
So you like packing shit in the back? Is that what you're saying? Cookie's not here again, but he would agree.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. It's fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. The way this looks right here, for the amount of money you would spend on a Land Rover, and don't get me wrong, if I had the money, I'd do it. But if you really wanted something of this concept, you'd get a Ford Flex, get an older model Ford Flex and have the same, equal amount of space. The only difference is it's not a Land Rover, and it won't go 4x4.
True, true. Those are the ones that they drive up on those fucking rock walls, right? At the dealerships and shit.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, Land Rover, they're hitting it out of the park, like always. And, we'll go back to a Ford here with the Ford Explorer 2022 model. This similar to the Bronco, but it looks really good. You look at those lights, and it's got a mean, sneer at you.
Looks like Johnny Five.
Yes.
He's all pissed off.
No kill Johnny Five. I'm alive.
It does though. Like it I see what you're saying. Like the same basic shape as that Bronco, and
Yeah. Boxy look,
mm-hmm.
Old nostalgia on that. And if you look at the Explorers from a few years ago, they just looked like a wedge. They didn't, I mean, they looked all right, don't get me wrong, but spending all that money for the look that they had, it wasn't special. This seems like they're hitting a niche that's more special to people. Back in the 70s when everything was a box. And it just had just so much more feel to it. You know what I'm saying? You could feel the road. You could feel the wind. I think they're going for that look, but getting more aerodynamic and more, fuel saving with it.
They should have painted it like fucking one of the Jurassic Park cars.
Well, that's always an option. There's a lot of people who do that right now.
With a big T-Rex bite out of it.
Exactly. 2022 in cars, though, it's getting pretty exciting. We're seeing some good nostalgia coming back. We're seeing some good, amenities that you wouldn't normally see. And what you're going to find out nowadays is that people are manufacturing these vehicles more succinctly than they used to. 10, 15 years ago, you would get a Toyota truck that had, wonderful interior. 10 years later, when they change over to the new series, they would just jack it all up and not put good fabric inside there, so everything's all rough and scratchy. Nowadays, it's more consistent. Now you'll get more fabrics and things that just feel better on average.
Yeah, and those people that like fucking the leather, it's like you must live in places that don't get extremely hot or extremely cold, because let me tell you, having fucking leather seats and being in a place where it does get really hot sometimes, you go to sit there and it's just like, oh hell no.
Well, I don't have a picture of it, but the Kia Telluride, that has AC in the seats. Oh my God, my friend has that. I sat in there and my balls were frigid. I was like, I love this.
I saw those. I did some work at the Kia building that's out here, and they, in their lobby, they have the different cars, and the Telluride was there, and it's open, and people to it's not like the dealership, it's the corporate office, so they just for people to look at. But yeah, that thing looked pretty fucking sick from what I saw. I was like, holy shit. And I did see that feature that you were talking about, the air conditioned seats. I was like, ooh, I need that.
Yeah, I tell you what, they drive smooth. It's a good handling car. And those fucking AC points there's two fans that are right under your seat. There's issues with that as well, because it's the newest model that they have out there. My friend had some malfunctioning fans, but it's repaired by the dealership. That aside, it's a great feature, man. Oh my God. At 116 degrees with 130 in the vehicle, when that AC starts kicking in, oh geez, it's perfect.
Hell yeah, that should be standard in all fucking cars.
Damn straight it should.
All right, guys. Well, we are coming up on our time for this episode. Thanks for tuning in again for another week, and we've got some special planned. We got Big O is going to be making a trip out to Cali, so be on the lookout for a lot of side content coming out and some pretty good pop-up shows. We're gonna do another Rice and Beans Radio probably coming at you next week, and so. Contests we'll be letting you know within the next few days of when the next contest is coming up. So until next week,
If a cunt smoked your last blunt, if work makes you feel like a jerk, if you need more humor in your life, just look to Rice and Beans for some afternoon delight.
yeah.